Zane thought she knew who her enemies were. Marcus. Destroyed. The past. Behind her. Minjun. By her side, protective, devoted. She thought she was safe. But she was wrong. Because while she's been learning to run her father's empire, someone's been watching. Waiting. Planning. Her father didn't die of a heart attack, he was murdered. And the person who killed him just sent Zane flowers congratulating her on the pregnancy. The Russians want her dead. The traitor on her board is closer than she thinks. And Minjun's about to discover that protecting Zane means going to war with the most dangerous people in the world. The cage is locked. The game has begun. And Zane's about to learn that in this world, trust is the deadliest weapon of all. But before we dive into the drama, go and watch part 1 of this story so you don't get lost. The link is in the description. Subscribe and turn on notifications because part 2 is about to get wild, and you do not want to miss what happens next. Today's special community spotlight shines on Amelia Naren, our top commenter for the week. Thank you for your support, it means the world to us. Now let's get into the story. The restaurant smelled like home, if home was a perfect fusion of Korean spices and Southern soul. Zane sat across from Minjun in the private room, surrounded by more food than 2 people could possibly eat. Mrs. Kim had outdone herself, Korean fried chicken, kimchi mac and cheese, bulgogi sliders, seafood pancakes, and something she called K-Town collard greens, that honestly changed Zane's life. Mrs. Kim thinks I'm starving, Zane laughed, her hand instinctively going to her small bump. I'm 3 months pregnant, not eating for an army. She loved your father. Minjun's smile was soft. This is how she shows love. Food. Lots of it. For the first time in weeks, Zane felt herself relax. The corporate armor came down. Here, in this cozy room with this complicated man, she could just breathe. Tell me about him, she said quietly. My real father. Not the man I knew, but who he actually was. Minjun leaned back, swirling his whiskey. Samuel Okonkwo was the smartest man I ever met. Ruthless when he needed to be, but he had principles. Lines he wouldn't cross. He met her eyes. He built his empire to lift people up, his community, his family back in Nigeria, immigrants who had no one else. But he also did illegal things. He moved information. Protected people governments wanted dead for speaking truth. Smuggled medicine into countries where corporations priced it out of reach. Minjun's expression was serious. Your father wasn't a saint, Zane. But he wasn't a villain either. He lived in the gray areas because that's where he could do the most good. Zane absorbed this. And you? Do you live in the gray areas too? Every single day. Minjun's gaze was intense. Does that scare you? It should have. A month ago, it would have. No, Zane said honestly. It makes sense. The world isn't black and white. Why should the people protecting it be? Minjun's expression shifted, surprise, admiration, heat. You really are Samuel's daughter, he murmured. The air between them thickened. Zane's phone shattered the moment. A number she recognized. Marcus. She declined the call. It rang again immediately. He's been calling. Minjun's voice went cold. Since this morning. I've been ignoring him. The phone rang a 3rd time. Answer it, Minjun said quietly. Put it on speaker. Let's hear what he wants. Zane hesitated, then accepted the call. Zane. Finally. Marcus's voice was frantic. We need to talk. Please. It's important. We have nothing to discuss, Marcus. The divorce is final. I made a mistake. The desperation in his voice was pathetic. A huge mistake. I've been thinking about everything, about the baby, about us. There is no us. Zane, please. I saw you at the Azure Lounge. I had no idea about your father, about your situation. If I'd known. If you'd known I had money, you wouldn't have left me. Zane's laugh was bitter. Do you hear yourself, Marcus? That's not what I meant. I mean, look, Victoria and it's not working out. The engagement's off. And I've been thinking about our baby, about being a father. You said you never wanted this child. I was scared. I wasn't ready. But now. Marcus's voice took on a pleading tone that made Zane's skin crawl. Now I want to try. To be a family. You, me, and the baby. We can make this work, Zane. Especially now that you're financially stable. Min Jun's hand clenched into a fist. Financially stable, Zane repeated slowly. That's what you think this is about? I'm just saying, we don't have to struggle anymore. You can afford help, a nanny, whatever you need. And I can. Marcus. Zane's voice was ice. Let me be very clear. I don't want you. I don't want your fake concern for a baby you tried to abandon. And I definitely don't want your suddenly renewed interest now that you know I have money. Zane, don't be like this. The divorce is final. You have no parental rights, you signed them away, remember? Don't call me again. Wait. Zane, please. I love you. I always have. Victoria was a mistake, the divorce was a mistake. Min Jun leaned forward to the phone. She said don't call again, Marcus. If you violate that boundary, I'll have my lawyers file a restraining order. Are we clear? Silence. Then, who the hell do you think you are? I'm the man who's going to make your life very difficult if you don't leave her alone. Min Jun's voice was deadly calm. Test me. Please. Marcus sputtered something, but Zane hung up. Her hands were shaking. He actually thought I'd take him back, she whispered. Because of money. Men like Marcus only understand value in dollar signs. Min Jun moved around the table, crouching beside her chair. Are you okay? I'm furious. Zane's eyes burned. He didn't apologize for cheating. For humiliating me. For calling our baby a mistake. He just wants access to my money. He's not getting anywhere near you or your child. Min Jun's hand covered hers. I promise you that. The touch sent electricity through her system. Their eyes met and held. Min Jun. Zane's voice was barely a whisper. His phone buzzed. He cursed in Korean, checking the screen. His expression went from frustrated to deadly serious. What is it? Jin-soo just sent an alert. Someone accessed your father's private files an hour ago. From inside a Konquo Industries. Zane's blood went cold. Inside? But only board members have that access. Exactly. Min Jun was already standing, pulling out his phone. We need to go. Now. The car ride back to the penthouse was tense. Min Jun made calls in rapid Korean while Jin-soo drove like they were in an action movie. Zane's mind raced. Someone on her father's board, people she'd met, people who'd smiled and promised support, was a traitor. Do we know who? She asked. IT is tracking it now. Min Jun's jaw was tight. But Zane, if someone's accessing those files, they're looking for something specific. Bank accounts, property deeds, or information about what my father knew. Zane's hand went to her stomach. About who killed him. Min Jun's silence was confirmation. Back at the penthouse, Zane's living room had been transformed into a command center. Screens everywhere, Jin-soo's security team monitoring feeds, and a young Korean woman with purple hair typing furiously on multiple keyboards. This is Yuna, our tech specialist, Min Jun introduced. Yuna didn't look up. Found him. James Morrison. Your CFO accessed files about Samuel's Nigerian operations 20 minutes before our alert triggered. Morrison. Zane remembered him, the silver-haired man who'd been so eager to help her at the gala. He's been on my father's board for 15 years. 16, Yuna corrected, pulling up files. And he's been stealing from the medical supply division for 8 of them. Small amounts, hidden well, but your father found out 3 months before he died. The room went silent. My father knew Morrison was stealing, Zane said slowly. And 3 months later, my father dies of a heart attack. Morrison didn't kill him personally, Min-jun said, studying the screens. But he might know who did. Yuna, dig deeper. Find everything, bank transfers, communications, travel records. Already on it, boss. Zane's phone rang. Unknown number. Everyone froze. Answer it, Min-jun said. We're recording. Zane put it on speaker. Hello. Miss Okonkwo. The voice was electronically distorted, robotic. You've been asking questions about your father's death. Stop. Her heart hammered. Who is this? Someone who can make you disappear just like Samuel did. You're a smart woman. Walk away. Sell the companies. Take your money and leave the country. You have 72 hours. And if I don't? Then your baby will grow up without a mother. If it grows up at all. The line went dead. Zane couldn't breathe. The threat against her child. Min-jun was immediately beside her, hands on her shoulders. Breathe. Look at me. Breathe. She focused on his face, his steady presence. They threatened my baby, she whispered. I know. His eyes were black with rage. And that was their fatal mistake. Jin-soo was already mobilizing. Triple security on all entrances. No one gets within 100 feet of this building without clearance. Yuna, trace that call. Bounced through 7 proxies, still working on it, Yuna muttered. Min-jun guided Zane to the couch. Listen to me. You're safe. Your baby is safe. This building is a fortress, and I have 20 armed guards between you and the outside world. They killed my father. Your father didn't have me. Min-jun's voice was steel wrapped in velvet. And he was trying to protect you by keeping you separate from his world. You're not separate anymore. You're in the center of it, and you have an army. Zane looked around the room. At Jin-soo barking orders. At Yuna's flying fingers. At the security feeds showing armed professionals at every entrance. At Min-jun, who looked like he'd burned down the world before letting anyone touch her. We find Morrison, Zane said, her voice steadying. Tonight. And we make him tell us everything. Min-jun's smile was proud and dangerous. There's my queen. Wait, before we get to the confrontation with Morrison, can we just appreciate how Manjun is ready to start a whole war for Zane? If you're obsessed with this protective mafia boss energy, hit that subscribe button. And drop a comment, would you want Min-jun's protection or is that too much intensity? Let me know in the comments. Now back to the story, because Morrison is about to have the worst night of his life. Morrison's estate was in the suburbs, the kind of place that screamed bold money and legitimate businessmen. Too bad he was neither. Min-jun's team surrounded the property while Zane, Min-jun, and Jin-soo walked straight to the front door at 11 p.m. This is insane, Zane muttered. We're just going to knock. Why not? Min-jun smiled. We're not criminals. We're concerned colleagues checking on our CFO who's been acting strangely. He rang the doorbell. Morrison answered in a bathrobe, his face going white when he saw them. Miss Okonkwo. Mr. Kong. What are you? It's nearly midnight. We need to talk, James. Zane's voice was pleasant and terrifying. About some interesting file access that happened earlier. May we come in? This isn't a good time. Jin-soo stepped forward. Morrison stepped back. They were inside. Morrison's study was exactly what Zane expected, leather, mahogany, expensive art. Min-jun closed the door while Jin-soo positioned himself in front of it. I don't know what you think you know, Morrison started, but... You've been embezzling from the medical division for 8 years, Zane said calmly, sitting in his chair like she owned it. Because technically, she did. My father discovered it 3 months before someone murdered him and made it look like a heart attack. And tonight, you accessed his private files about Nigerian operations. So here's what's going to happen, James. You're going to tell us everything. Who you're working with. Who killed my father. Everything. I don't know what you're talking about. Min-jun moved so fast Morrison didn't see it coming. One moment he was sputtering denials, the next he was pinned against the wall, Min-jun's forearm across his throat. Let me explain something, Min-jun said conversationally. That woman sitting in your chair is under my protection. Someone threatened her and her unborn child tonight. I'm not in a patient mood. So when she asks you a question, you answer. Truthfully. Or I stop being civilized. The scar on Min-jun's eyebrow, the tattoos on his neck, the cold death in his eyes, Morrison saw exactly what he was. Okay. Okay. Morrison gasped. I'll talk. Just, please. Min-jun released him but didn't move away. Morrison collapsed into a chair, shaking. I didn't know they'd kill him. I swear. I owed money. Gambling debts. Bad investments. The people I owed, they don't forgive debt. Names, Zane demanded. The Volkov family. Russian syndicate. They found out about my stealing, said they'd expose me unless I gave them information about Samuel's operations. Morrison's words tumbled out. I gave them shipping routes, bank accounts, nothing that would really hurt the company. You gave Russian mobsters my father's business intelligence, Zane said flatly. They wanted his Nigerian contracts. Said there was something in Lagos, some information Samuel had that was worth millions. I don't know what it was. But Samuel found out I'd been talking to them, confronted me, said he was going to the authorities. So you told the Volkovs, Min-jun finished. And they killed him. Morrison's silence was confirmation. Zane stood slowly. Every inch of her vibrated with rage. My father trusted you. For 16 years. He probably mentored you, supported you, and you sold him out for gambling debts. I didn't think they'd kill him. Morrison was crying now. I thought they'd threaten him, maybe steal some merchandise. Did you make the call tonight? Zane asked. Threatening my baby? No. That was them. After they found out you were asking questions, they told me to access the files, find out what you knew. And then they told you what? Min-jun's voice was deadly. To set her up. Lure her somewhere. Morrison's face said it all. They're planning something, Jin-soo said from the door. When? Tomorrow. The board meeting. They said to make sure she comes to the office, that they'd handle the rest. Zane's blood ran cold. There's no board meeting scheduled for tomorrow. There is now, Morrison whispered. I sent the emails tonight. Emergency session to discuss company security. Everyone will be there. It's a trap, Min-jun said. They're going to hit the building when all the board members and Zane are in one place. Maximum chaos, easy to make it look like a corporate terrorism incident. Zane's mind raced. So we don't go. No, Min-jun said slowly, a dangerous smile forming. We go. But we're ready. And we turn their trap into ours. He pulled out his phone, rapid-fire Korean to someone on the other end. Zane looked at Morrison, this pathetic man who destroyed everything out of cowardice. You're going to that meeting tomorrow, she said. You're going to act normal. And when this is over, you're going to confess everything to the FBI, testify against the Volkovs, and spend whatever time you have left trying to make this right. And if I don't? Min-jun ended his call. Then I stop being civilized. And trust me, Mr. Morrison, you don't want that. Back at the penthouse at 3 a.m., Zane should have been exhausted. Instead, she was wired. Min-jun's team was planning. Jin-soo was coordinating with FBI contacts. Yuna was hacking into the building's security systems to give them every advantage. And Zane stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at the city that held so many enemies she'd never known existed. You should rest. Min Jun's voice came from behind her. Tomorrow's going to be intense. I can't sleep. She didn't turn around. I keep thinking about my father. About how he lived with this every day. The threats. The danger. And he kept me so far away from it that I never even suspected. He wanted you to have a normal life. I don't want normal anymore. Zane finally faced him. I want justice. For him. For everyone Morrison's betrayal hurt. I want these people to know they can't threaten my child and walk away. Min Jun crossed to her slowly. You understand what tomorrow means. If we do this, if we go after the Volkovs, there's no going back. You'll be declaring war on one of the most dangerous crime families in the world. Good. Zane lifted her chin. Let them come. I have you, don't I? Something in Min Jun's expression cracked. You have me, he said roughly. You've had me since the moment I saw you in that lawyer's office on the security footage Jinsu showed me. This broken, betrayed woman who still sat up straight, still had fire in her eyes. I knew then you were going to be either my greatest victory or my complete destruction. Zane's breath caught. Which one am I? Both. He stepped closer. You're everything I never let myself want because wanting means weakness. But I'm weak for you, Zane. Completely. And after tomorrow, after we burn these bastards down together, I'm done pretending I'm not. The air between them was electric. Min Jun. Her hand touched his chest. We said we'd be smart. Take things slow. I don't feel smart right now. His hand covered hers. I feel reckless. Because tomorrow you're walking into danger, and the thought of anything happening to you makes me want to lock you in this penthouse and handle everything myself. But you won't. No. Because you're not mine to lock away. You're a queen who deserves to claim her throne. His other hand cupped her face. But after tomorrow, Zane, I'm going to ask you for something. What? A chance. A real one. Not as your protector or your business partner, but as a man who's completely gone for you. His thumb brushed her cheek. Can you give me that? Zane's heart was racing. What if I don't want to wait until after tomorrow? Min Jun's eyes darkened. Zane. What if I told you I'm already sure? She stepped closer. That I've been sure since you showed up at my door and looked at me like I was worth protecting. Like I was worth everything. You are worth everything. Then stop being noble, Zane whispered. Stop holding back. Tomorrow we might die. We're not going to die. But we could. And I don't want to face that without knowing what this feels like. She kissed him. For a heartbeat, Min Jun was frozen. Then he was kissing her back like she was oxygen and he was drowning. It was desperate and perfect and everything Zane hadn't known she needed. His hands in her hair, her hands gripping his shirt, the city lights blurring around them as the world narrowed to just this. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Min Jun pressed his forehead to hers. We're doing this, he said. After tomorrow, you and me. Really doing this. Promise? I promise. He kissed her again, softer. Now go sleep. You need rest. Will you stay? The words came out small. Not, I don't mean, just. Stay. Please. I don't want to be alone tonight. Min Jun's expression softened completely. Get changed. I'll be right here. 20 minutes later, Zane lay in her massive bed, and Min Jun sat in the chair beside it, his hand holding hers. Tell me a story, she murmured, already half asleep. About my father. A good memory. So Min Jun told her about the time Samuel won a poker game against 3 mob bosses and a senator, and used the money to build a school in Lagos. Zane fell asleep smiling, safe and protected. And Min Jun stayed awake all night, watching over her, planning how to destroy anyone who dared threaten what was his. The Okonkwo Industries board meeting was scheduled for 2 p.m. At 1:30, Zane walked into the building looking like the billionaire heiress she was, tailored navy suit, her father's signet ring, diamonds in her ears. And a bulletproof vest under her blouse that Min Jun had insisted on. The board members were already gathering. Morrison looked like he might throw up. Good. Miss Okonkwo, Director Hamilton greeted her. Thank you for coming on short notice. When Morrison said there was a security concern. I'm sure it's nothing, Zane said smoothly. But better safe than sorry. Min Jun entered behind her, Jin-soo and 4 other security personnel with him. To anyone watching, it looked like standard executive protection. But Zane knew each of those men was armed and trained to kill. In the conference room, Zane took her father's seat at the head of the table. 15 board members, all successful, all powerful. And according to Yuna's research, 3 of them had suspicious connections to the Volkovs. Let's begin, Zane said. Morrison, you called this meeting. What's the security concern? Morrison opened his mouth. Closed it. Looked panicked. That's when the power went out. Emergency lights flickered on, bathing everything in red. Everyone stay calm, Min Jun's voice cut through the rising panic. Jin-soo, secure the room. But Jin-soo was already moving to the doors, which wouldn't open. We're locked in, he announced. Zane stood. This is the trap. What trap? Hamilton demanded. What's going on? The conference screen flickered to life. A man appeared, 50s, sharp suit, cold eyes. Miss Okonkwo, he said in accented English. I am Dmitry Volkov. You've been making problems for my family. You killed my father, Zane said coldly. Your father stole something from us. Information about our operations in Nigeria that he threatened to give to Interpol. I simply protected my interests. Volkov smiled. Now you will do the same. Transfer controlling interest of Okonkwo Industries to the accounts I'm sending, or the bomb in this building explodes in 10 minutes. The room erupted in panic. You're bluffing, Min Jun said. Am I? Volkov nodded, and the screen split. Security footage of the building showed multiple bags placed at structural points. The charges are real. The timer is running. Make your choice, Miss Okonkwo. Your empire, or your life and the lives of these innocent board members. 9 minutes, Volkov added. Zane looked at Min Jun. He nodded slightly. Show time. Okay, Zane said. I'll transfer it. But I need computer access. Use Morrison's laptop. He's been very helpful. Morrison looked like he wanted to disappear. Zane sat, opened the laptop, and started typing. But not transfers, she was sending a signal. 6 minutes, Miss Okonkwo. These are complex accounts, this takes time. Outside the windows, movement. Shadows on the roof. Min Jun's backup team. 4 minutes. Almost done. The windows exploded inward. Not with bombs, with Min Jun's tactical team on rappel lines, glass shattering as they swung into the room. At the same moment, Jin-soo threw a device at the locked doors, a small explosive that blew them open. FBI agents poured in. On screen, Volkov's expression went from smug to shocked to furious. You. Did you really think I'd come unprepared? Zane stood, pulling out an earpiece that had been hidden in her hair. Say hello to the FBI, Mr. Volkov. They've been listening to everything. Including your confession to murdering my father. The bomb. There is no bomb, Min Jun said, smiling coldly. Your men were intercepted when they entered the building this morning. The bags are filled with FBI surveillance equipment. You've been set up, Volkov. Arrest him, the FBI agent said to his team in Moscow, because yes, they'd coordinated internationally. On screen, Russian police burst into Volkov's office. The feed cut out as Volkov was dragged away, screaming. In the conference room, FBI agents were arresting Morrison and 2 other board members who'd been complicit. Zane watched it all with calm satisfaction. Hamilton approached carefully. Miss Okonkwo, what just happened? I cleaned house, Zane said simply. The traitors on this board have been removed. The people who killed my father are going to prison. And Okonkwo Industries is now completely secure. She looked around at the remaining board members, shocked, afraid, but also, impressed. Let me be very clear about something, Zane continued. My father built this company with vision and principles. I intend to honor that. But I will not tolerate disloyalty, and I will not be threatened. Does everyone understand? Nods all around. Good. We'll reconvene next week. Actual business. You're dismissed. As the room cleared, Zane finally let herself breathe. Min-jun was beside her immediately. You okay? We did it, she whispered. We actually did it. You did it. You were magnificent. Zane turned to face him, adrenaline still pumping. Take me home. The heat in Min-jun's eyes was unmistakable. Gladly. The penthouse was quiet after the chaos. Zane stood in her living room, finally processing everything. Her father's killers caught. The company secure. The danger, for now, passed. And Min-jun, standing by the windows, giving her space but not leaving. I can't believe it's over, she said. The immediate threat is over, Min-jun corrected. But Zane, this life, my world, your father's world, there will always be new threats. New enemies. Is that something you can live with? Zane crossed to him. Is that your way of trying to give me an out? It's my way of making sure you understand what you're choosing. If you choose me, you're choosing this. The danger. The gray areas. The constant vigilance. His jaw tightened. I need you to be sure. I'm sure about a lot of things, Zane said. I'm sure I'm stronger than I ever knew. I'm sure I can run my father's empire and honor his legacy. I'm sure I'm going to be a good mother. She stepped closer. And I'm absolutely sure that I want you, Kong Min-jun. All of you. The dangerous parts, the protective parts, the parts you try to hide because you think they'll scare me off. Zane. I'm not finished. She put her hand on his chest. Earlier, you said after today you'd ask me for a chance. So I'm giving you one. Actually, I'm not giving you a choice. You're mine now. Deal with it. Min-jun stared at her. Then he laughed, a real, delighted laugh. Did you just claim me? Yes. Problem? No. He pulled her close, his hands on her waist. No problem at all. But if we're doing this, we're doing it right. I'm not your secret. I'm not casual. When I commit, it's everything. Good. I don't do anything halfway either. Then we're agreed. Min-jun's smile was devastating. You're mine. I'm yours. And anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with Jinsu. Zane laughed, and then Min-jun was kissing her again. This time, there was no holding back. No danger interrupting. Just them, the city lights, and the promise of something real. When they finally came up for air, Min-jun touched her face gently. I'm going to take care of you, he said. You and this baby. I'm going to protect you, support you, and probably drive you crazy with how overprotective I am. I wouldn't expect anything less.